Have you ever felt like a married woman was giving you too much attention? Subtle glances, light touches, conversations that seem innocent but carry something extra. If you don't know how to identify these signs, you might end up in a dangerous game without even realizing it. In today's video, I'm going to reveal the 7 most common signs that a married woman desires you. And the 5th sign is so subtle that most men never notice it. Stay until the end so you don't miss any details. Sign number 1, frequent and intense. Eye contact, a woman's gaze, says much more than any words. And when a married woman desires a man, the way she looks at him changes completely. It's not just casual, polite eye contact. It's a deeper look, one that lingers for a few seconds longer than usual, as if she's evaluating you. If you've noticed a woman looking at you repeatedly, but quickly looking away, it could be a sign that something more is going on. Many times, this happens without her even realizing it, but it gives away what she's feeling. Another important detail is when she not only looks at you, but also gives you a discreet little smile. It may seem innocent, but trust me, this small gesture says a lot, and if it's accompanied by lip biting, a wink, or even a slight eyebrow raise, then it's a clear sign that she's testing your reaction. This becomes even more obvious if she does it when her husband or other people are around, trying to hide it, but at the same time, seeing how you respond. Now, keep in mind that not every look means desire. Some women are naturally more expressive, or simply enjoy engaging through eye contact. What really matters here is repetition. If it's just an occasional glance, it could be a coincidence. But if it happens frequently, especially when no one else is watching, she might be feeling something stronger and struggling with this silent attraction. If this happens to you, the best thing to do is stay calm and not jump to conclusions unnecessarily. You don't want to be that guy who walks into a complicated situation without realizing it. A look may just be a look, but when it keeps happening, it's a sign to be smart about it. After all, if someone is already committed, you don't want to get caught up in unnecessary drama. Sign number 2, she brings you into conversations. When a married woman is attracted to a man, she always finds a way to bring him into the conversation, even when there's no real reason to. It could be by mentioning something you said before, casually dropping your name in random conversations, or even inserting you into a discussion where it doesn't really make sense. This shows that, in some way, you're on her mind and that she wants to reinforce this connection without drawing too much attention. The key detail here isn't just that she talks about you, but how often and naturally it happens. Another clear sign is when she remembers little details about you that were mentioned in passing. It could be a story you told weeks ago, or even a question about something specific you mentioned without much emphasis. This kind of attention doesn't happen by accident, and if she doesn't do this with others, that's already an indicator of a special interest. She may also use humor to subtly get closer, making inside jokes, playfully teasing you, or finding excuses to keep the conversation going are ways for her to test whether there's any reciprocity on your part. After all, if she desires you, she'll want to test the waters without saying it outright. So pay attention to what's behind her words. Now tell me, have you ever noticed a married woman bringing you up in conversations without a clear reason? If so, leave a comment below. Your experience might help other guys understand this kind of behavior better. And remember, noticing these signs doesn't mean you have to act on them. The most important thing is recognizing when a situation is becoming ambiguous so you can decide how to handle it wisely. Sign number 3, playfulness and casual touches touch is one of the most subtle and most powerful ways to show interest. And when a married woman is attracted, she may find discreet ways to create physical connection without making it too obvious. It could be a light touch on your arm during a conversation, an accidental brush against you when there was no real reason, or even a hug that lasts a second longer than normal. From an outsider's perspective, these gestures may seem innocent, but if they happen frequently, it's a sign that there's something more. Another interesting detail is when she uses playful physical interactions as an excuse for contact, like lightly shoving you when laughing at something you said, or fixing your clothing as if she's helping you. If this kind of touch only happens with you and not with others, it could mean something different. The human body has an instinctive way of reacting to desire, and often, these gestures happen without her even realizing it. Besides touch, physical proximity says a lot. If you notice that she's always closing the distance between you without a real reason, pay attention. Normally, people maintain a certain space when talking, but if she seems to ignore that barrier when she's with you, even when others are around, it might indicate an interest that goes beyond friendship. The best approach? Don't react impulsively. Many times this behavior is more about testing than a genuine intention to take action. Some women do this to see how you'll react or to fulfill a momentary emotional need. Knowing how to identify these signs puts you in control of the situation, avoiding unnecessary problems. And of course, not every physical touch means something, but when it keeps happening unnecessarily, it's worth paying attention. Sign number 4. She puts more effort into her appearance. Around you, when a married woman desires a man, it often reflects in the way she presents herself. And it doesn't have to be something obvious. Small details, like wearing a more noticeable perfume, choosing outfits that highlight her figure, or trying a different hairstyle, can be signs that she wants to be noticed. The interesting part is that often these changes aren't for others around her. They seem specifically directed at you. Another giveaway is body language. If you notice that she adjusts her posture, plays with her hair repeatedly, or smooths out her clothing while talking to you, this might be an unconscious reaction to wanting to appear more attractive. Now, if she makes an unusual effort to look perfect every time she knows she'll see you, that's a strong indication that you're on her mind. A clue that many men overlook is how she reacts when she realizes you're looking at her. If, upon noticing your attention, she lightly smooths out her outfit, touches her neck, or gives a discreet smile, it's a clear sign that she's aware of her appearance and wants to make a good impression. When this reaction is combined with other signs, it could mean there's a silent attraction happening. But hold on, don't jump to conclusions too quickly. Some women simply enjoy dressing up because it makes them feel good, and that doesn't always have anything to do with you. What truly matters is the repetition of this pattern. If every time she expects to see you, there's a noticeable change in her appearance, it's a strong sign that there's a subtle game going on. In these situations, the best thing to do is to act maturely and not encourage something that could turn into a big complication. Sign number 5, frequent virtual interactions. In the digital world, a married woman's interest can appear in subtle but meaningful ways. If she sends you messages without a clear reason, starts conversations that could have been avoided, or always finds an excuse to interact, pay attention. Often, this doesn't happen directly. It might come through comments on your posts, suggestive emoji reactions, or questions that keep the conversation going longer than necessary. Another important detail is the timing of her messages. If she reaches out late at night or during moments when she would normally be busy, it could be a sign that you're on her mind more than you should be. Also, pay attention to the tone of her messages. Does she use nicknames, give disguised compliments, or bring up past conversations? All of this shows that she not only pays attention to you, but also wants you to notice that attention. A strong indicator is when she consistently shows interest in your daily life. Questions like, "Hey, how was your day?" or "What have you been up to?" might seem innocent, but if they happen frequently, it's a clear sign that she wants to maintain an active connection. On top of that, if she starts sharing personal details without you even asking, or always finds a topic to extend the conversation, there may be more than just a simple friendship developing. If you notice this type of behavior, it's essential to act with discernment. Many women seek validation and attention without necessarily wanting to take things further. The best approach is to avoid sending mixed signals or fueling a conversation that could become emotionally intense. Setting boundaries from the start prevents misunderstandings and potential headaches in the future. Sign number 6, she shares personal problems with you. If a married woman starts venting about personal problems, especially about her relationship, it could be a sign that she's seeking an emotional connection with you. When she shares frustrations, dissatisfaction, or difficult moments in her marriage, it might indicate that she sees you as a safe emotional refuge, someone who listens and understands her in ways that perhaps even her own husband doesn't. The tone of the conversation also speaks volumes. If she talks about her marriage with disappointment, makes comments like, "You understand me better than he does," Or, I wish he was more like you, she might be testing the boundaries of this relationship. Some women do this unknowingly because they feel comfortable with you. Others, however, use these types of conversations as a way to see how far they can go. Beyond what she says, the frequency of these interactions is also important. If she constantly seeks you out to talk about delicate topics, even when it's unnecessary, it could be a sign that you're becoming an important part of her life in a way that should be reserved for her partner. This could evolve into emotional dependency, where you end up taking a place that, ideally, shouldn't be yours. If you notice this pattern, the best thing to do is stay neutral and not get overly involved. Show empathy, but don't dive too deep. Emotional relationships can be just as intense as physical ones and are often the first step toward a complicated situation. Recognizing the signs and handling them maturely is what keeps you from getting caught up in something that could spiral out of control. Sign number 7. She brings up sensual topics. Around you, if a married woman starts bringing up topics about desire, intimacy, or relationships unexpectedly in your presence, that's a red flag. These conversations usually start subtly with comments about movies, stories about acquaintances, or even jokes with double meanings. The goal, most of the time, is to test your reaction and create tension in the air without being too obvious. And the key here isn't just what she says, but how she says it. Often, what's left unsaid carries more meaning than the actual words. Another major sign is if she starts asking personal questions about your love life, even when it doesn't fit the context. If she's curious about whether you're dating, what kind of woman attracts you, or what you prefer in a relationship, it might be more than just casual curiosity. Some women do this as a way to create a more intimate connection without openly admitting their interest. This behavior becomes even more apparent when she reacts playfully or provocatively to your responses. Whether by joking, laughing, or subtly challenging you, also pay attention to how she expresses herself around you. If she makes comments like, "I like men who do this," "I find it really attractive when a guy acts like that," or even mentions dissatisfaction in her intimate life, she might be trying to plant an idea in your head. Besides that, her tone of voice, intense eye contact, and even small pauses during the conversation can indicate that her words have a deeper meaning. When faced with this kind of situation, the best thing to do is stay in control and not fall into the game. It might seem harmless to continue the conversation, but that can open the door to misinterpretations and lead to a complicated situation. If you feel the tone of the discussion shifting, steer the conversation in a different direction subtly. Being firm in these moments prevents confusion and ensures you don't get caught up in something that could have difficult consequences. Now, if you want to keep learning and understanding more about female behavior, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Speaking of which, there's already a new video on the screen right now. Click on it and keep watching. I'll see you there.